Hey, what is going on YouTube? Essentially, I'm back here again. So, for this episode, I actually have something interesting. I decided to get a different controller, and this controller is actually like very old. Like it came out in 2010, and this is arguably one of the OG controllers for PC back in the day. So, if you guys don't know, like when Steam came out, it was like around 2003 when Steam first came out. And even though it was a lot of games, a lot of people play mouse and keyboard. The one things that you probably have noticed is that a lot of like controllers that you plug into your PC will work as an X input device. X input really didn't come out till around 2005 when the Xbox 360 came out. That's when they had the generic like 360 controller layout. I mean, the 360 controller was kind of a little expensive. I believe it was like around like $40 for a 360 controller, and it only supported X input. And back in the day when we had the older joysticks for game PC, like for flight simulators and stuff, a lot of controllers use D input, and for a while now a lot of games were using D input rather than supporting X input. So around 2010, a company that you guys well known as Logitech came out, and they decided to come out with 3 controllers, which we're actually about to get into right now. So the Logitech F310 came out in around like 2010, I would say 2011, and this is just one of the 3 models. So this is the base model, the F310. Then you have a F510, and then you have a F710. And actually, we're gonna unbox this controller and just go reminisce about this controller, because at one point this controller was one of the top-notch controllers, and a lot of PC gamers loved it because this controller supported D input, X input, and was able to give you a console-like experience for your PC. And yes, before you even say anything, back in the day, people actually liked using controllers. Yes, mouse and keyboard is good for FPS, but yeah, for like action adventure games, people like controller. For some racing games, people prefer controller over mouse and keyboard. We're not going to go into that argument, but let's get to unboxing this controller. Okay, now, so here we are with the controller and the unboxing. When I got this controller, I noticed that it was like a little slit right here. Looked like the package came slightly damaged, but I don't think it's a big deal. So, let's see if I can unbox this thing. You know what, this reminds me of like when I went to GameStop back when I was a kid, and you see those Power A controllers. Actually, you know what? That's probably something I should do later on. I should probably go to GameStop and get a Power A controller. But enough of that controller. This is about the Logitech. But oh my god, this plastic. Oh god, this plastic's getting everywhere. Alright, so yeah, this is like, I remember when I first got this controller, this was when I first started playing PC. It was around 2013, and one of my very first games I played was Warframe. Oh my god, this packaging is off. This plastic is disgusting. Alright, here we go. I got the controller. Oh. And here we are. We got the controller and a booklet with stuff about the Logitech controller and something else. Another little safety thing. So yeah, let's put this aside. Anyway, yeah, this controller is oh my god, it feels so weird. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, trying to get my camera to focus because the Logitech buttons right here, which I will play as like the 360 button. You got the plus, the start, and looks like you have a mode switcher, which is interesting. The D-pad, oh my god, man, like this D-pad does not feel great. It's like a little janky. As a matter of fact, like I can kind of move it like left and right. But you know what? For some reason, this was the D-pad, the gamepad used for PC gaming that people enjoy so much. The ABXY actually, this does not feel that bad at all. Actually, I like this. The sticks and ooh, this really does not feel good. Like, This feels very cheap, very plastic. It is extremely light, but then the controller also does. This is the one that doesn't have rumble, so this is like the base model. So there is no rumble function with this controller. The sticks, they're okay. I mean, they're not concave. I mean, they're not. I kind of like with a little like slight like in-game controller sticks because it actually sits on your thumbs a lot better. This one, it kind of like it doesn't. It has like some type of rubbery grip on top of it, but it doesn't feel as good compared to like some of the modern controllers we got today in 2022. Wow, that is extremely clicky. Like the L1 and R1 is very clicky, but it also this controller just feels extremely light and extremely like low quality. Okay, so yeah, using the triggers on this. Okay, so it is analog triggers. Wow, it's not that far from 0 to 50 and 50 to 100, which is pretty interesting. And also, if you probably look at the back, this controller, because of back then PC gaming, like X input and D input, you're able to switch it from X input mode to D input mode. So that way you can like if you're like playing Flight Simulator, you can put this in like D input mode and you can map out all the buttons. If you want to put this in X input mode, you could just flip the switch, be X input mode, and it will be like seen as like a standard like Xbox controller and all the button layout as standard Xbox layout, which is pretty interesting. As for the mode, I'm not really sure. I don't remember like what was the mode input for. Button guide, keyboard home key, mode site. Okay, indicates sports mode. Left analog stick and D-pad are swapped, controlled by mode button. So, okay, so if I go into sports mode, it will switch these two around, which honestly I'm kind of not a fan of. And this D-pad is, not that very good. I mean, honestly, like the fact that I can like wiggle it around like this is not good. But I mean, it still is 9 axis, and this controller I got for like $16. So what do you expect for $16? But yeah, overall, I guess the only thing that's left for me to do is to plug this controller in and let's play some games. Oh my god, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, yeah, let's give this a try. So using this controller in racing games, the controller was okay. I mean, there was no really problem. It's just overall the controller kind of felt a little uncomfortable for me. Kind of understand that like they have a little resting point where you can rest your fingers underneath of the L1, L2, R1, R2, but for some reason like the controller feels bulky and it honestly didn't feel that great for me using racing games. Like it's an okay controller, but there's definitely like more comfortable controllers as far as using for racing games. Using this controller in like a third-person / first-person shooters, I kind of had a little bit of reminiscence of me using this controller playing Warframe all the time, but I can honestly say like in today with all the type of controllers that we have now, like this controller probably doesn't feel the best as far as using for like first and third person shooter. I mean, it's okay, but one of the things that I kind of noticed most is the fact that the sticks just don't feel as good compared to some of the modern sticks we have, like the PlayStation 5 controller or the Xbox Series X controller, or even some of the third-party controllers. Like, it kind of did not age. The design kind of didn't age very well, and I mean, it felt okay. I was able to get the job done, but like usually like aiming with the sticks and stuff, and it just kind of felt like a really big like clunky, cheap controller to it. But I mean, hey, I mean it does a decent job with using it for first and third person shooters. Okay, so using this controller for like 2D platformers like Sonic Mania, honestly, I gotta say like the D-pad, it's okay. This is clearly not the best D-pad. Like it got the job done. I was able to like have no problem doing spin dash and like running around and stuff, but the D-pad quality, it doesn't feel like the best quality. Like it's good enough, but it's like not the best. Like I will say like overall like this is average like D-pad. I definitely have used better controllers with better D-pads than this one, that's for sure, but I mean, it gets the job done. Using this controller in fighting games, this is actually where I noticed the D-pad was like a big issue. Because of how the D-pad is and how loose the like the up, down, left, right whole D-pad thing is, it really did not feel good at all. Like, I mean, it's kind of good to be able to do combos and stuff, but there was some things I just couldn't do, and kind of the loose D-pad really did not feel good in my hand. I mean, it's an okay controller for fighting games. I mean, the ADXY actually, it works out pretty fine, but as far as this D-pad, I just can't get past it. I even tried using the special sports mode to switch it up to use analog sticks, and that just honestly felt worse. Yeah, I would not use this like sports mode. I just keep it the way it is, but overall, yeah, like this is like a very generic experience for fighting games. Okay, so after using this controller in a couple of games, I would say that F310 controller in 2022, I would give this controller honestly like 4.5 out of 10. The one thing is about this controller is like the analog sticks, I mean, they're okay, but usually I kind of like analog sticks that have like the concave into it where your thumbs actually feel more secure on thumbsticks. You would notice like on the Xbox Series X controller, the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller, and the Nintendo Switch controller, like it kind of has a slight little like concave in, like a little incave that makes your thumbs feel more secure on the controller. I know the Nintendo Switch has like this little, like these 4 little like prong rubber rings on the edge to actually make it feel more secure, but this controller doesn't have it at all, so it kind of feels like my thumbs are slipping off. And another thing, this D-pad is not good. I did not like using this D-pad. The fact that it's like wiggly like this, and also using this in fighting games and 2D like platformers, this controller is not that great. I mean, it was great back in like 2010, 2011 when this controller first came out. This was like one of the OG controllers for PC, back when we didn't have a lot of controllers for PC and that support X input. But to 2022, we actually have so many more controllers, and the fact that Steam can allow you to map like practically any controller you want to any game as long as you run it through Steam, like this controller kind of a little bit outdated. I did get this controller for like $16, and even like getting that $16, like the best, I will say like this controller is like a 4.5 or 5 out of 10. Okay guys, so that is it for this video. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit notification to let you guys know the next time that I release a video, or whenever I go live. I am going to start going live and start streaming some video games, so you want to miss out on that, and also that's a good chance for you to get to know me. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.